on the butter that's melted on your driveway.
Sounds good to me. Whatever pops into your head, it's really unique and personalized in this way. There's no right or wrong image here. There may be images you don't want to tell anyone about. Okay, does anyone want to try it?
Yeah.
Okay, who wants to try? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, should I link it with my objects?
Well, if you want to share, that'd be great. Yeah.
Okay, so I open my mailbox
Mhm.
and there is an apple tree. Bizarre, okay, but I love apples,
Mhm.
okay.
Right.
When I come in the hall closet on the top shelf, there's just all these avocados, which thinking, ooh, guacamole, that'd be fabulous.
Mhm.
In the linen closet, when I open it up, I see a tuna hanging there like you see with the fishermen. You know, holy cow, like it's tall, it's big, you know.
Phew, smelly.
It smells, oh no, it's freshly cut.
Okay, that's good.
Freshly cut. For some reason, I go into my medicine cabinet and open it, and lo and behold, there's a loaf of bread hanging just like the tuna is, and it's like, that's bizarre, but anyway, fresh loaf of bread. In my jewelry box, there's peanut butter. Now that's pretty messy. That's really messy in my jewelry box, but oh well. I go to my writing desk, and it's a lockable space. And when I unlock it and open it, you wouldn't believe it, but there's actually a pot of sauce, tomato sauce, bubbling away. At the top of my fridge is this big clear bottle of vinegar waiting for pickling. And in the ice box is coffee to keep it nice and fresh for whenever I start having coffee again. On the bookshelf, I've got all these blocks of butter, just like you see in the freezers at the superstore. And on my kitchen table, there's ice cream melting all over the place.
Mhm. Very good. Very good. Okay.
Can I say just one thing? All this memory stuff, comparing imagery and the
Right.
list, it all sounds to me like a Stephen King novel.
It's a Stephen King novel.
Well, they're pretty memorable, aren't they?
Well, some I wish to forget, but.
Yeah, that's what you want to forget. But it is. It's the more memorable things are, the more fantastic they are, or the more unique they are. That's the way our memory works.
I'm sure I'll remember that when I'm working this afternoon. I'll be able to list off the items.
Right. Right. Yeah, I mean it's pretty powerful. Anyone else want to try the list? So it looks like you were reading something. Did you?
Well, my places.
You were looking at your places.
Yeah,
Okay.
because I had kind of just created them.
Okay,
in
right,
terms of,
right,
so I
right.
had to sort of think of the places.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. So one thing to suggest is that, this moves, is to make sure that with your memory path, you have a list of waypoints that you can recall in the same order, when you need to remember the same order. But and it's not just necessarily needing to remember them in the same order is important, but you won't forget one if you use the same order every time, right? Otherwise, you might forget to go see your jewelry box, right? So it's really good to have the same order to make sure you hit all of the points. Does anyone else want to try it?
Sure.
I've had great difficulty because
it wasn't logical to me. And I could hardly do the list.
Okay,
I couldn't think, I had difficulty finding something for
For each
each
one?
item.
right,
And even to get from item 1 to item 2.
Yes.
I
Right.
couldn't find a path like you had from walking from your car into your
Right.
house and so on.
right,
And I was not able to create that.
okay, okay.
But
Well, don't give up. Now, some people find this harder than others.
Yeah.
But I think, and of course, we've done this before, so for us, it looks like it should be pretty easy, but it is not. And I have to say, this whole imagery thing takes a lot of practice. Finding a consistent path, that should be doable, right? Wherever you live, just think about just going from room to room to room, or even at different points in a room in the same order. That you should be able to, because you don't have to use your memory for that, because it's so automatic. And if you have a place that you've lived in for a while, then you should be able to do that. And that's why we suggest you use the same waypoints each time, and you go in the same direction each time. So you don't have to remember them, okay?
Does that mean that every time you look at your closet and you're thinking of a bunch of carrots hanging, or whatever you want to do,
Exactly.
that's the way you're going to remember carrots? If you want to remember carrots, you always remember your closet?
It depends on what the context is for the memory, right? So this is for lists or items that you want to remember for a short period of time, right? And I could remember bananas by imagining them in my living room as well, right? As you know, before they were on my driveway. So it's really just a simple connection at the time you need to remember them, and then you can just let it go until the next time that you need it. Okay, so you don't have to always think of carrots in your closet. Okay.
It's
Yeah, you
probably-
have.
Oh, I was just gonna say, it's probably better if you remember them as G-rated, then you don't have to worry about dreaming about it later
That's right,
on.
that's right. Don't think of anything too bizarre or gross or anything, because you do want to forget it at some point. I heard someone over here say they wanted to try it.
Sure, I'll try it.
Okay.
I walk out my front door and there's an apple orchard there, which is bizarre, but what's even more bizarre is there's avocados on the ground. So I pick up an apple and an avocado, and I go to my neighbor's place who has a pond in his front yard, and there's a tuna in the pond. And then my neighbor comes out and says, "How would you like to have a piece of bread with peanut butter on it?" So I say, "Yeah, sure." So I go in and I do that, and when I'm leaving, I notice a pot on the stove, and I say, "What's in the pot?" And she says, "It's spaghetti sauce," right? And so from there, I walk back home, and I walk in, and my wife is pickling, so I smell vinegar, of course, and then I decide that, you know what, I'm gonna have a coffee. So I have a coffee, so then my wife is now sitting down, and she asks me what I had done, so I tell her about the peanut butter sandwich, but I wasn't used to eating it like that, because usually I put butter with it. And then I say, "So, and what are you eating?" And she says, "I'm having some ice cream." And I say, "Well, that sounds good, I'll have a bowl also." So
Excellent.
my challenge often is, talking about imagery, is remembering a face, but not
Right.
being able to attach a name to the face.
Yeah. Yeah, and so we'll pick up the face name thing in a second, but the other unique thing about your memory path was that you actually created a little story around it as well, right? And that's also really good, because that links things together even more, right? It gives more context and more cues to help remember the different items that you're trying to remember. And just even creating a story around a list of things that you want to remember is also a way to do it. The memory path is just an artificial structure to give you some way to link things together. But creating a story is just fine too. Yeah.
Oh, I just wanted to do it,
Oh, okay, great.
and I just, apple, avocado, tuna, bread, peanut butter, tomato sauce, vinegar, coffee, butter, and ice cream.
Very good, excellent. So I think that it's important to keep in mind this is one strategy. It needs practice. And really the underlying rationale is that association, right? And this is a structure with which you can use to create associations. And the associations, the more they mean something to you, the easier they are to use them later for retrieval. And unique associations are better than sort of common ones. And so that's why imagery often helps with that, because imagery helps create unique associations. And you have a picture as well as just an item that you want to remember. So does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I'm just looking at the time. So I think we had 100% on this. So when you walked in here, did you think you could take 10 items and just remember them like that?
No.
Okay. And now you can. What about 16? What about 16 items? I'll give you a few minutes. Go for it. Come on, you can do it. Remember, practice makes perfect. I know, it's hard using the old brain cells. We've done something else here. We've gotten rid of the food. Now you have to go to different associations.
Onions food.
Except, well, we have a few food, but, okay. See, you guys are keeping me on my toes. It's good too. I'm gonna ask Ryan to tell the list afterwards. He's sitting over there smirking.
Is this the list
You
you
mean
changed?
panicking?
Is this the list you changed?
This one actually is not a new list, but we didn't get to this in our last boot camp, so this is good. You guys are really good. I'm gonna sit here and do it too.